to the Debrief, where we talk with the Washington Examiner's top journalists about the headlines they're covering this week and where the story's going next. I'm Sarah Westwood, and I'm here today with commentary editor Conn Carroll. And Conn, in Washington, D.C. this week, the City Council overrode the veto of the liberal Mayor Muriel Bowser to put in place a rewrite of the criminal code that critics like yourself say could make violent crime a lot worse in the nation's capital. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, here you have a capital that has just recently ticked down in homicides, yes, but carjackings are still through the roof, still going higher. And this bill lowers the penalties for carjacking. It also lowers mandatory minimums on a whole bunch of other crimes. And then for misdemeanors, it requires a jury trial for every misdemeanor. This is going to swamp the court and just make prosecuting any type of crime in the city impossible. And talk to a lot of Republicans on Capitol Hill, this bill might get home rule for DC revoked.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that home rule argument, because I've seen that as well, the chatter about, ending the rationale for having this independent leadership of Washington, D.C.
Right. Well, I mean, the Constitution gives the Congress the power for overseeing the district. The thinking being that Congress needs a locality that they have control over to make sure it's a safe place for the federal government to be. And, I mean, crime's a base issue that a local government has to do. And if DC government, local DC government can't provide a safe place for Congress to exist, then that is a perfectly good rationale for Congress to come and take over and say, no, we actually want to punish carjacking. That should be illegal.
What even is the rationale of the city council members who are saying this is something the city needs? I mean, how are they able to defend this in the context of rising carjackings?
Well, I mean, they would say that the criminal justice system is racist and that therefore any type of incarceration of criminals is racism, and so that's why they want to decriminalize, de-incarcerate people. They think criminals should be out in the streets with us.
Okay, and finally in San Francisco, speaking of liberal city leaders getting a little wild with the ideology, there is serious talk about a reparations policy going into place that could give eligible people $5 million each from the city. Tell us about the eligibility, how serious is this proposal?
Not only a one-time $5 million payment, but then $250,000 annually on top of that forever. And the wild thing about it is you don't even have to live in San Francisco to qualify. You have to be black, of course, but if you can show that you have a relative who was convicted of a drug crime, that means you qualify. So you can live in Boise, you can live in DC, and if you were black and had a relative who was convicted of dealing drugs, then you get the money. And I mean, the cost, the equity issues, the definitions, it's just mind-blowing that
and San Francisco can afford this, even though they have, I read, a record high vacancy rate for residential and commercial.
Right. I mean, you have all of these tech millionaires leaving. I don't know how they're going to afford it. It's quite interesting. We'll see how this plays out.
Well, Conn, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
You can get more writing from Conn and the rest of the commentary team at washingtonexaminer.com.